Hi, it's Hans at happierman.com. Today's topic is you be okay. Well, this is I think Friday in early November. It's after the U.S. election, and of course it's very nice that the election day is over, but now there's still the aftermath. There's no winner yet. I don't know if I expected that or not, but in whatever it is, the point of my talk is whoever wins, you have to make adjustments and adapt your life so you be okay. I think will mostly be okay. Now, there's going to be a lot of interesting things over the coming weeks and a lot of things behind the scenes, but let's say you as a more ordinary guy, how are you going to adapt yourself to whatever? Well, I think that's the whole point of what I've been trying to get at, is you have to do your own thinking. You have to be able to look out at the world and see the reality that you're living in, and then make adjustments and adaptations so you don't get swallowed up in something that has nothing to do with you. Your life is really all that matters. That's really the only thing you can really control. Largely. Now there is a lot of things that, let's say, somebody else is kind of dictating things to you, but you want to back away from that as much as you possibly can. Organize your life so that you're making most of the decisions that affect you mostly. For example, I left my wife a long time ago, and I detail that in my book, Leave Your Wife and Become a Happier Man, with the 3-step system available on the ahappierman.com website. But, I wasn't okay when I was married to her. I was far, far, far from okay. I was very miserable, very unhappy, very frustrated. At times, I was suicidal. And it was just trying to deal with this woman who, for a variety of reasons, just could not be nice to me. So I chose not to tolerate it, and I chose not to accept it. I made the decision to leave her myself. Nobody told me what to do. Nobody helped me, for that matter, in this regard. Nobody. I had to help myself, and that's kind of the point. You are going to have to help yourself to be okay. So we've got this presidential race, and one or the other is going to win, and then there'll be an adaptation period coming on the heels of that. And how are you going to deal with it? Well, that's the point. You got to be flexible and nimble and mindful and willing to do what it takes to make your life better. Now, let's say you're leaning toward the one side. They're going to say, well, you got to get involved and help us do this. Or the other side, you got to get involved and speak out about all this. But maybe yes, maybe no. That's not my thing. My thing is my life, and showing you as a man that you have an opportunity to take control of your life. And there's many ways that the deck is stacked against me, you as men, me as a man. There's many ways that the deck is stacked against us. But that doesn't mean you give up. I was staying with my wife, dealing with her. The deck was totally stacked against me. No matter what I tried to do, to try to improve the situation, it didn't work. And the only thing that worked was leaving her. But even after the leaving, there was tremendous problems. The court system was, obviously, it's always one-sided to the women. And it does you no good to rail against that and complain against it. You just have to know that it is, and then make your adjustments accordingly. So one of the adjustments I made was I went from living in a huge house out in the suburbs to just a dumpy little apartment, right? Which I had massive comfort in my big house to hardly any comfort at all in my dumpy little apartment, where I would buy second, third, fourth hand chairs that broke down every 6 months, buy them for $10 or $20. I made massive adjustments. All my clothes were basically used. All my food was basically cheap. I had to beg money from my mom and dad to help me. When I would see my friends, they would help me. I'd beg, borrow money. I didn't pay taxes for years, and then I eventually, when I got back on my feet, I had to pay all that back. Uncle Sam wants his. And the divorce, the actual attorney was very, very expensive. I basically gave everything to my wife just to get out. It did me no good to rail against this, because this is the system that we live in, right? So don't bother railing against the system. Bother with your life. What are you going to do? I couldn't live with that woman the way she was to me. It's been so wonderful not being married, being free, but there's been tremendous hardship afterwards. She couldn't just leave me alone and for free for my life to work on my life. There was tremendous hardships after. I had to go to court and do other things afterwards, and the court didn't want to help me. They didn't want to help me. I needed restraining orders and court actions in order to try to get this person out of my life. And they didn't want to do that, but I took the initiative myself and forced them to do it. And I had to take lots of records, and it took a long time, and this might happen to you. You've got to look out for your life. You be okay. The world is stacked against you. It's stacked against me. It's stacked against us. It's stacked against normal people, not just men, but women too. The powers that be need us to be whipped and beat and pushed down and pushed around, and they rarely are going to help you in a significant way. They're going to go out of their way to punish you. But see, the knowing that they're doing this is power for you. You know they're going to punish you for leaving your wife. You know the courts are going to pound you unmercifully. You know you're going to struggle and suffer and be frustrated with this. But yet the results are sweet once you go through with it. You know how good it will be once you get past this bad, out of control marriage. You'll be okay. Just like this election. Yeah, no matter which side you're on, there's going to be there's going to be changes coming down the pike that we don't even have any clue what they will be. And they could be very, very, very hard on us, right? Either one. Both Trump and Biden will probably have things that's going to affect us that we don't even know how detrimental it's going to be to us yet. Other than knowing that this probably will be. So you want to always be thinking of your life. What are you going to do to adapt? Don't get yourself too locked up in things that are very difficult to deal with. So, yeah, right now, I wouldn't get married. No, I wouldn't get married. I wouldn't move in with a lady. No, don't do that. I'd be careful about getting overly upset about the politics either way. Either way you go, there'll be retribution. Right? So we know all this. You know it's going to be hard on the ordinary guy, an ordinary person in the U.S. So don't get too upset about it. Other than being upset if your life, if the actions that you've taken have ruined your life, that's when you do something about it. The action I took was getting married, and the inaction I took was staying married very, very long, even after I knew it was no good. So all of that is on me. It wasn't the president telling me to get married. It wasn't the president telling me to stay married. No, that was all on me. So I undid the wrong action, and you may have to undo the wrong action too. Jobs. You might be in a bad job right now. You might have taken a job that you thought would be good and it turns out bad. Well, how are you going to be okay? You might have to get a different job. I did that. I was in a very, very good job. I left to take what I thought would be a much better job, and it turned out to be a wrong decision. So I had to undo that by getting a third job. And now this third one that I'm in now is very, very, very good for me. But if I had gotten lazy and complacent, I would have just said, well, I took this job, now I don't want to deal with trying to do all this effort to get another one. Because the effort involved in this job was enormous. I spent months working on it, trying to get something. Months of free time. It was like I had a 40 or 50 hour job plus a 40 or 50 hour a week job of trying to get a new job. That's how much difficulty it is. But my life is worth it, just like your life is worth it. Whatever it takes for you to be okay, you have to do it. If you got to turn the TV off today and don't turn it on again for 5 years because you can't stand watching all the politics and all this stuff and all the back and forth, then do that. If whatever is making you upset on a daily basis you can't deal with, well, you have to make a change to not deal with it. If watching the social media is making you upset, well, don't watch it. Don't participate. If something about your life is totally amiss, you have to do the effort to make it right. You know, whether Biden or Trump, they're probably not going to have that much effect on your life in a positive way. It's more likely that either one will have a negative effect on your life. So you have to look at the reality of the situation and be able to adapt and be flexible and find a way for yourself to be okay no matter what. So anyway, give that idea some thought. I hope you're going to be okay. I hope you'll do what it takes to make your life great. I hope if you're in a bad marriage, check out that link, Leave Your Wife and Become a Happier Man with the 3-step system. Type that in. It should pop up on the Google. Look or go to my ahappierman.com website. It's easy to find and read about what's in the book right there. To me, the problem with most men's lives is they're probably married to the wrong woman. And if you're married to the wrong woman, it's very difficult to screw up enough courage to get out. But the book will help you. The book will help you. It'll save your life like it saved mine. So give that idea some thought. All for now.